Good morning. This is your fiscal court. You're always welcome here. If you didn't get a chance to sign in on the sign-in sheet, that's perfectly fine. You'll have the right to speak. Because after all, this is, you are the taxpayers. There's an agenda back there on the back bench. It's an agenda. And at this point, does anybody need anything? If not, let's begin. It's always my honor to welcome our pastor for this court meeting. And today we have Pastor Doug Webb of Calvary Holiness Church. So, Brother Doug, come up and lead us in a prayer and pray. Let's stand.
Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for another day that you blessed us with. We thank you for your Son, Jesus, that you give on the cross of Calvary for our salvation. We praise you for that wonderful gift. Lord, in the midst of this Christmas season, let us never forget the real reason for it. Lord, we thank you for this court, all the work that they do. We pray that you bless them in their decisions today that we make according to your will. Pray for our good executive to continue to help her to lead her in the direction it should go. We'll give you praise and we'll give you honor and glory for all things. We pray thy will be done for this day. Thank you for your prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Brother Webb. Next on our agenda, presentation and approval of minutes. Magistrates and packets on the bill, action, and request. Thank you, Magistrate. I'll second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on the bills as presented by the Judge Executive's Office? Ms. Grant, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And now, Ms. Sharp will present the bills from the Treasurer's Office. Thank you.
Bills presented to the magistrates in your packets today for December the 4th and December the 12th for your approval.
Thank you, Magistrates. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion concerning the bills as presented by the Treasurer's Office? And Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
And also presented to you is a list distribution, a monthly revenue journal, a funds receipt report, an appropriation commission report, and a transfer expenditure, and a financial statement through November the 30th of 2013.
Action is requested. Are there any questions concerning this treasury report?
I make a motion to pass the revenue journal.
Thank you, Magistrate. Do I hear a second on the treasury report? We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? And thank you, Ken, for letting us know about the balance, and there is nothing else that you're aware of that we should know. Thank you, Brandon, may call the vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Short. I know I mentioned the Amy Rent from the executive director of the Wilmington Health Department that I will go ahead and submit the reappointment of Darlene Haley to our Bullock County Board of Health. I know that's on a couple of pages later, so for you all who may need to leave or you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. I want to go ahead and take care of that item. So I make a motion to reappoint Darlene Haley to the Bullock County Board of Health. And the terms are December the 31st, 2013 to, well, that's when the term expires, to December the 31st, 2015. Are there any corrections needed on that? Ms. Haley, does that sound correct, two-year term?
Yes.
Two-year, okay. Ms. Haley is here. I appreciate her being here at this report. If you have any questions for Ms. Haley, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer those. I do need a second to my motion. Thank you, Magistrate. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? And Ms. Brandon, may call the roll.
Mrs. Ashcroft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Glasgow?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Haley, for your service, and thank you for going to serve again. And thank you for those people who came to support your reappointment. I appreciate that. Moving right along, Sheriff Dave Greenwell, the HIV Peace Collector. Take it away.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I do that every time.
Take approval.
For minutes, I do that all the time.
I found two typos already to Brown,
Okay.
but I don't know if anyone else found anything.
Approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes with the change of a few typos as far as I can go.
Thanks for getting this, Ms. Brandon. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Brandon, may call the roll.
Mrs. Ashcroft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Glasgow?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, Sheriff Dave Greenwell, take it away.
The total 6 out-of-town hookups for this, total fees received for the month was $172,28,635 for a total of $5,026. All expenses first off was $14.24. Total working distribution was $2,000. Hookup fee
Thank you, Cheryl. Any questions? And no action required, correct? Thank you very much, Sheriff Greenwell. And now moving on to Fiscal, Partners in Prevention, to talk about the social rules. Welcome, Chrissy. Hi.
How y'all doing this morning?
Doing good.
Good. First of all, I'd like to apologize. I know we've been on the agenda for the past few times, and I've been here for some circumstances. So I appreciate you allowing me to be here today. I won't take up very much of your time. Secondly, on behalf of Fulton County Partners in Prevention and all of those who diligently worked on and been in support of the social host ordinance, we would like to thank Ms. Ruby Ashlaw for supporting this very important issue for our youth. You show consistency and integrity throughout the whole process, dating all the way back to the beginning of this year, when you voiced your support along with 2 other magistrates in an article of Pioneer News. So we really do appreciate that, and I want to personally thank you. I just have a couple of questions, and then I'll get out of your hair. The first question for the court is, when do you suggest that this issue be put back on the agenda?
Is it going to be changed any from the original writing?
Well, and that's my second question. So what concerns do you guys have about this that was previously presented? Because I would love to hear those concerns.
It was, a lot of the property owners were curious about this. And I had a lot of phone calls on this. I had more against than for. So probably the way it's written at this point, I would not be for it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that information. I really appreciate your input on that. Thank you. Okay, well, we tentatively plan to put this back on the agenda somewhere late spring, early summer, and we'll be watching the situation. So again, thank you so much for letting me address this issue. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Chrissy. We're moving on down to presentation D, Wickets Lane. We've got several folks here who want to speak about this road, so let me turn it over to you all. You want to go first? Well, that's Sharon. This is Sharon Clark. She has lived on Sharon. Oh, that's fine. Sharon has lived on Wickets Lane for quite some time, so go ahead.
Yes, we were, that's part of you were part of that, I call it a process, we call that the citizens. The problem now is, Robert Lee, equipment is no longer there, maintain road, will needs to separate case, and I apologize, and take care of that money. There are 5 families that live back in their property owners The hill is just impassable. It's a hazard. It's a life and death situation. When the ice comes in especially, I come off that hill backwards about 30, 40 miles an hour out of the morning. I used to park my car on the outside of the road, on Wilson Creek Road, and be able to walk in and out. I hit this place last year. I lost my son a couple months ago, cancer, and my biggest fear was for the ambulances trying to come back in there and get me. And a fire that would break out, the firefighter could not come back to help us. It's impassable. Once ice gets on there, that's it. We need help from the county to put some kind of cover, open that road up to the grade, which you used to do it for us years ago. And then we just put the gravel cost on that. But now they don't do anything anymore. And no one I've been here, we have two individuals like myself. I'm handicapped. I still have to work. I'm 67 years old. I have 3 grandbabies that live back in the now. We have to get them out to school. We have 2 neighbors that also have medical issues. The UPS trucks brings their medication back to them. They are not going to get in and out of their dinner. This has all started in the last year or so. We're asking the county to please step up as taxpayers for all of these years that we've been back in there and paid all of our taxes, and my father feel that, to help us maintain this road. It is a safety issue. And we need it to, once that Rick's Lane was dedicated to my father and you with him, they stepped in and planning and zoning and completely changed our physical address. So now you're saying when you said it's a private lane, it's not a private lane. This lane now belongs to the county because it has a county name and our addresses have been changed. And I have physically go and everyone else that lives back in there, they'll have their driver's license changed. Now, if we're doing all of this, and you've already indicated that this does belong to the county, and it is a government, process that we have to go through, changing our driver's license, and physically changing our building, and physically changing our addresses. So you've already opened that door. Now, we also have a historic landmark back in there, so it's not a private road, because it's a cemetery that dates back to the early 1800s, so anyone and everyone can come in and out of that road anytime they want to. So how are we expected to maintain it when everyone is coming back and forth and driving in and out of there and tearing the road up as it is? It doesn't even live in there. Hundreds of people. So the county just needs to step up and help us open it up, and then just put big graders, that's all we need, one grader come in there, and put some kind of top layer on that can be, put some de-icer on it or whatever, or grade it once or 2 or 3 times a year. We're only asking for a few times out of the year that you come back in and do this for us. Once the main, surface would be taken care of. You can't keep gravel on anymore. It washes off. We're spending money on nothing. We don't have the heavy equipment to take care of this. And the road is getting in horrible shape. So is it going to come to the point where one of us died because an ambulance can't get him out? When my son was taken out this summer, ambulances so many times with his cancer, the ambulance drivers could barely make it in and out over the hill when it was dry and passing. And I said, why are you stalling out on top of this hill? Well, most of the ambulances have 200,000 and 300,000 miles on them, and they're barely run on the road as it is, let alone pull this hill. So now you're talking about, you can't get an ambulance in there. It's not going to happen. Like I said, if one of us have to die, if an emergency have to happen, the Full County steps up and helps their taxpayers. The initial cost wouldn't be that much, and from then on, it would be very little. You run 733 anyway. Run down and clean it. It would only take 20 minutes coming over that hill if we had some kind of a blacktop topping on there. Even if it just went from, halfway up the hill and half down the other side, we could maintain the rest of it. But it's a grade that we cannot keep clean off. We don't have the equipment for it. We need somebody to come in, step up, and help take care of us. Any comments on this? Mr. Maxwell, were you over there and you did come in and out of the hill, or did you not?
No.
Oh, you never?
I've been out there.
Oh, you were Bradshaw. Okay, I'm sorry.
And I have discussed the situation with the road department, and that hill, obviously, is the problem, in more ways than one. Because of the grade of that hill, I believe the state laws will not let us use state funds, is where we get most of our road money, on a grade that is, what, above 12 degrees, is that correct, Mr. Stiles?
12%.
12%.
Now, don't you maintain Oak Street? Oakwood Drive? Don't you maintain Gun Club out there? And that grade is even more so.
I don't know the answer to that question. Do we, she's asking, do we take care of, what did you say, Oakwood?
Oakwood Drive, right in front of us.
Yeah.
And do you not take care of also the Gun Club out in that area?
Some of the roads were stuck in before the state mandated that.
Okay. See, part, you referenced years ago the county did this, and the county did that. Then the state comes along and says, you can't do that anymore. They changed the laws. If we violate those laws, we won't get state road money for anybody.
Then what do I have to do? Who do I contact?
Well, to change the state laws, you have to speak with your state representatives, state senators. They have to do something different. I would love to tell you Mr. Stiles will be out there tomorrow with a grader and just knock that hill down and flatten it out and take care of that for you.
No, sir, we don't expect it to be flattened out.
Well, the thing
You
is-
come in there before, and when they came in and they did that road, it opened it up and packed it down. Something running out of there. The road is getting to where all they're using are box graders, it just doesn't work. They're great on a little flat, 20-foot gravel road. But when the big graders came in there, and it only took him one time over the hill and back, we're talking about maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, opening that road up. It's getting to where it's slanting, it's worse, we can't get it right now. We don't have the money to hire contractors to come in there. If we did, we wouldn't be over here begging for help, and we're literally begging right now. Because like I said, it's gonna get to the point, and I'm not threatening or anything, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. Someone is gonna die back in there. Because the ambulances are no one can get to us. Does it have to come to this? And I think it really needs, we need some help here, advice from someone. If Bullitt County can't take care of it, then you need to put us into the direction of the people that maybe will come out and look at this and help us in some way or the other. There has to be funding. I heard that you got additional funding for roads, this year. Now, maybe it's just for the main highways and the county roads, I don't know. But we are taxpayers, and we have been for years, and generations. And we've never come in front of court and asked for anything, but now we are.
I'm sympathetic with your situation. Like I said, I've been out there a couple of times. I know exactly what you're talking about because I had to straddle the ruts to even go back to.
Yes, sir.
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but the one that lives back around.
Mr. Jewell.
Jewell, yes.
He's not one of these one that is concerned for my brother, because he saw what was happening with him.
Yeah, I think I met you actually leaving that day. I was made aware of the situation. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's been a nightmare this past year.
So we need to go to the state representatives to get anything done.
But to change the state law, that has to be done in Frankfurt. And so your immediate contact would be your state rep. And I'm not sure, right, prior to the last redistricting, Bullitt County was divided into 4 different districts. I'm not sure who has your district out there. But it would be like Butler or David Floyd, or I'm not sure who.
I had his name.
Like,
I've spoken to him.
So he's, after the first, whenever that goes into effect, and some people say it's in effect now, some people are questioning it. But anyway,
But in the meantime, the children can't get out and go to school, so then they're in trouble in school.
And then I'll get the letter, yeah.
Yeah.
only get a letter and have to go to court.
This boomerangs,
Yeah.
I understand.
because when the road is clear, our road isn't. And not just clear, it's ice. You cannot, we all have four-wheel drives. We've done everything we felt responsible to get in and out of it because we love living back in there. But now it comes down to the point where our children are going to be in trouble in school, and then the parents are going to be in trouble. And then we have people that have medicine that's delivered by UPS back in there, and they can't get into it. Now what happens on that? So they're done without their medicine. I know my son needs medication delivered by UPS only way that it could be delivered because of the road laws and everything that's passed, and they are so strict that the pharmacists will not ship them anywhere. It's a guaranteed carrier and delivered and signed by the person that's receiving the medication.
And that safety is going and are trying to at least get it open enough to where we can possibly maybe get in and out. I mean, their tractors,
They're just
you
not,
know,
they're just not
gonna
efficient.
roll over something.
At our landline, we have put a landline back in there. You can't, it sounds like we live out in East, La Cucaracha, but back in there, you can't get cell phones, you can't have cable, there's no reception. So our landline is the only thing you can call out for an emergency. And the landlines, they're AT&T, I don't know what they're trying to do away with all the landlines and everybody on cell phone, which doesn't, we can't do that. They don't work half the time. I had 1 year that I had 5 months out of the year, I had no connection to the outside world except to get in my car and drive to my neighbors if I could get out and do that. So we're really isolated, and there's enough people back in there, and like I said, it's really an issue of safety, and we tried everything. We just had grab foot on the road. It's washed off now because the road needs to be graded at least down to where, I know you can bring a grader back in there. I know you can do that. Whatever you have to run up Wilson Creek Road, it wouldn't take them 20 minutes to swing over and take care of that way. At least if you can consider that,
Let me see what I can do.
please.
I'll make some phone calls where it's on.
You think maybe if she called Russell Weber, then I know he'll come out there and he came to the sanitation meeting the other night because we were having a situation. And I thought it was not.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if it's already.
I think it's like what's over still.
I know he's got a local number and then of course his cell phone. Or his,
Do you folks have my phone number?
No.
Phone number, address, okay, so contact me.
Thank you. I will.
And we'll discuss.
Yeah, we have to have something done. Like I said, we're making the county help us. And if there was any other way, we could take care of ourselves. Even with the other equipment that we do have, my brothers, which come and try to help, they're getting too old. Sorry about that, you all. And they're a little broke down. They can't get out here and handle the equipment like they used to. And I can't walk out anymore, leave my car outside the road. And the babies can't do this anyway. You're talking about little ones. And it's hazardous even trying to walk out in the middle of the night, because now we have out there, I don't even take up all your time, the circumstances have completely changed. We have coyotes, like theirs have been spotted. I wouldn't want to walk over that hill if I was in good shape and at 5 o'clock in the morning getting to work. You're talking about all these people that hold jobs, even I at 60, almost 68 years old, I have to work. And when I get back to get to a job, I'm going to be there one way or the other. And that's why I said I'll come off that hill back and clean in the morning. And it's not a good sign. Someone's going to put the car and be dead on one side of the lane, almost 100-foot drop off into the gully. And then when you go on the other side, it's the same one that way. So they can't help us anymore. And pull the field, kind of open the road, and pull us out from going off into the gully. We've had cars that have been caught on by a tree by the grace of God. So I can't stress the fact enough on how serious this really is for me and my family. It really is a poor for my son. And so please reach out to police. Thank you.
Is there anybody else
but I live out on Old Boston next to the gun club out that way. But she was requesting what she could do. Would it be any help if it was considered a subdivision? Would that be any kind of a help in the county working with this? You know, she was trying to think of some way of getting it figured in.
Since Mr. Bradshaw is the magistrate for that area, I don't know anything to talk like this, but of course, I've been in constant contact with Sharon about this matter, and whatever we can do, we're going to see what we can do. But go ahead, Mr. Bradshaw.
I don't think declaring it a subdivision or anything like that would, because the laws refer to the road and the grade of the road, and that kind of thing, over state law, you can't change it. Now, whether there's some way to work with the state, declare some kind of emergency, the road, things like that.
And if the job position for those who live out there have anything to do with the county, the gentleman right here at the top, and he's not capable of getting it out, why would that put any emphasis on trying?
Like I said, all these things can be added into the discussion, and if something can be made to happen, we'll make it happen. I can't promise you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Becky. Does anybody else want to speak concerning this line? Mayor, you want to speak? Do you speak?
I think got here. Wasn't doing anything on the out plan, and then you come back and use it, but you said it's changed. That's what the problem is.
The laws have changed as far as using state money to work on private roads and the county roads.
I think what we're looking at too is county, regulation county, if taxpayer money is there, and it's not being utilized. Not being used, so that's a different situation, but you said that. And then what's this road? Yeah, yeah, that's the take.
Well, my question is this, when was these state laws changed? Because that road hasn't been blacktop for very many years, because I've heard it was back there, I've been going back there several years, and it was gravel, and for a long time, and from my understanding, there's a gentleman that lives back there that came and kind of threw a fit and wanted it. But their grade is absolutely.
The biggest part of the law change came in 2004. What Mr. Stivers just said was that those roads you're asking about were taken into the county system before that time. So they were taken in before that time, their grandfather in, even though they wouldn't be on the current restriction.
That's a lot of the road.
They wouldn't necessarily have been paid at the time they were taken in. They just made standards that would allow them to be paid later. I mean, we have several roads on the list right now that are not paid, but they are in the system. If the road is not in the system, the county can't touch it right now. That's just what the law is.
But the main problem with the road is the grade.
Yeah, I think it has to be less than 12%.
What is the grade?
Like I said, I'm not going to 26%. Right.
It's not so bad, the nice line, you give it for about 2 or 3 speeds behind it. No problem with that. I believe you've done that. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir. Be happy for you. Do you all know Jimmy Stivers, the director of the road department? We do now.
Clarify that on that, turning to subdivision.
through the skate park.
Right.
Then you've got the field there. I mean, there's.
That's your great, one of your great problems there is the grade on that hill, and you know that.
There's no other reason to grade down.
The other problem is that I don't know about the legal prescription of it, that legal prescription of that right of way and of that roadway before it can be taken. There's a lot of standards in here that didn't meet before, that still not meeting here, and I understand what I've looked up in the town code.
And you're talking about, the width of the road, I mean, the right of way.
The right of way.
Well, see, that was all in there, I had surveyed, when we, divided it up. And everything, I guess, the last 50 years, got 50 foot right of way, as far as I know. Anytime the surveyor surveys, they survey the 50 foot. Other than cemetery, right of way, I think that's about 20 foot.
Yeah.
I believe from the foot to the cemetery.
And the state, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but they will not let us have money on the county gravel roads. Okay, even our county roads, they won't let us have money.
Now, I had Century 21 coming back in here, they were very interested in putting subdivision back on my property. And it wasn't that difficult to have that.
And when they told us about to do it, they were able to have put out the road to black out the road
It don't meet the county spec. And you can talk to these representatives like Mr. Ashland said, but they won't give the county any money for their gravel roads if we tried and tried.
you have to change it.
A lot of them don't understand. I'm sorry. I'll keep looking and trying to and support the
Thank you, Jimmy. County Attorney, at this point, is there anything that can be done that the county could do?
Not that I'm aware of, that's doing things wrong, actually, as far as that.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for advocating for what you believe in. Like I was telling some other folks, did you lose something there?
No, it just depends.
See what I mean? And that's why we can't get the road. God bless.
And Sharon, I'll be in contact with you as well. We'll stay in contact with you and I'll see if we can straighten this matter out.
Thank you so much. You've been so helpful. You've given us at least a glimmer of hope. But we're still going to continue to work on this. And that's all the way to the top.
Thank all of y'all for being here. Okay, Roanne Kemp, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Our first docket is 2013 Z-33, Marie Curry and Gregory Curry. They're asking to rezone from agricultural to conservation. The planning commission heard this case on November 14, 2013. They voted to send a favorable recommendation because there have been major economic, fiscal, or social changes within the area. There are other properties in the area which have been rezoned to either conservation or residential, and there are several mobile homes, other homes, and stick-built homes in the area.
Ordinance number 13-30, an ordinance changing the zoning from R2 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 3 acres more or less and is a portion of the property located at 5050 Cedar Grove Road in an unincorporated area of the county. Be it ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Louisville, Commonwealth of Kentucky. In summary, number 1 sets forth that the...
I was 33.
Oh, I'm sorry. You went backwards. Okay, sorry. Ordinance number 13-31, an ordinance changing the zoning from agricultural to conservation. The property in question is 485 acres, more or less, located at 2151 Deepsville Road in an unincorporated area of the county. Be ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Bullock, Commonwealth of Kentucky, in summary. Number one, sets forth that the above property located in the incorporated area of Bullock County and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the planning commission, docket number 2013-33, is hereby changed from agricultural to conservation. Given first reading at the regular meeting of the fiscal court of Bullock County, Kentucky on the 3rd day of December 2013. And given a second reading at the regular meeting of the Bullock County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of December 2013.
Thank you, County Attorney.
That's gonna be.
I did.
This is not our, the ordinance number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see the confusion?
I didn't run it.
It's okay, it's all backwards.
Somehow we need to get the wrong people and not work in the same way.
We have our own ordinance, we just don't mess with that up.
Sorry. Okay, you ready for a motion, I guess? All right. We are talking about docket number 2013-Z-33, which is 2151 Deesville Road, Curry and Gregory Trading property. I make a motion to accept the recommendation of planning and zoning.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, magistrates. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I apologize for that mistake. Okay, now I'm on docket 2013-Z-31. The applicant, George Graham, they're asking to rezone from R2 residential to B1 highway business. Planning Commission heard this case on November 14, 2013. Planning Commission made a motion to send a favorable recommendation to this report. There are other business zones in the area. The community will benefit from proposed retail store. They approved this with the condition that the applicant grant right of way to the State Highway Department for future riding of Cedar Grove Road. There were a few residents that spoke in opposition. They were opposing this because of safety concerns on Cedar Grove Road.
Ordinance number 13-30, an ordinance changing zoning from R2 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 3 acres more or less and is a portion of the property located at 5050 Cedar Grove Road in an unincorporated area of the county. Be ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Bullock, Commonwealth of Kentucky. In summary, number one sets forth that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullock County and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the planning commission, docket number 2013-Z-31, is hereby changed from R2 residential to B1 highway business. Given first reading at the regular meeting of the fiscal court of Bullock County, Kentucky on the 3rd day of December 2013, and given the second reading at the regular meeting of the fiscal court of Bullock County, Kentucky on the 17th day of December 2013.
Action is requested.
Okay, since we had discussion on this during the first reading, that's when you're supposed to do it. It's normal that the magistrate that represents a particular piece of property is the one that makes the motion. That's just kind of the way we do it here. So it's up to me to make a motion. You cannot make a motion opposing something if you do not have a good reason. There's legal reason. I can't come up with any good legal reason to be against this. I know not everybody, but several people have addressed their concern about the location of the entry to the property because it's kind of downhill on a curve, and people are concerned about the increase of accidents in that area because of that location. I have that concern myself. However, they are going to remove some trees on the left side of the hill as you go down the hill, which should improve navigation to that area, hopefully prevent any accidents. They are making a provision to widen the road, to give right of way to widen the road should the state decide to do that. Therefore, I make a motion to follow the recommendation of planning and zoning on this property.
Thank you, Magistrate.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Brandon, you have roll call.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Arthur?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Brandon. Thank you all for being here. Was Marie and Gregory here? Curry, I don't think they were here. Thank you, George and Merrill, for being here on behalf of your land and your money. I think that's it. Is that all?
I would like to make one. The other night, last week, we had a planning commission meeting, and Chris Laurie did present a draft of the comprehensive plan. Now, at that meeting, the planning commission made a motion to allow any member of the public to present any written concerns or make any presentations to the administrative office of the planning commission by the end of business day, January 31st. And at that time, I will send out copies of those concerns or presentations to Chris Laurie and the planning commission members to review. On February 20th, we will have a special meeting of the planning commission, and the public is welcome to come to that meeting and make their presentations. The planning commission will have discussion, and Ms. Laurie will be there. We will discuss any changes that can possibly be made to the comprehensive plan draft, and then Ms. Laurie will take those changes with her, and then there'll probably be more discussion on it. There's not a final date set for, the final draft of the comprehensive plan, but I just want everybody to know that anything that you feel like you might want to submit, please bring that to my office by the end of the workday on January 31st. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hammond.
Candy, please.
Yes, you may. Okay, Judy Stiles, Director of the Health Department, we've already heard from you once. What else you got for us? Yeah, here, go ahead.
What about the 7 Part C that is on the agenda that I have?
Tricia Miracle emailed me last night apologizing, but something had come up in her request for the GED presentation, so she wasn't able to be here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John,
Yes, ma'am.
she basically wanted to announce to the court that the cost of GED was doubling effective January 2nd. It was going from $60 to $120. And that we're going to have to come up with creative ways to help people who can afford to complete that milestone.
Do you want to come on?
No, I just wanted to let you know that she emailed me this morning. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have 10,000 people in Bullitt County who are at working age, who do not have a GED or high school diploma. And there's a new obstacle in their way, and it's the cost of GED. It's doubled from today to January 2nd.
Thank you, Donna. Donna Miller is the director of Bullitt County Community College. which is located on Buffalo Run off of Cedar Grove Road. Well said.
May I ask, do you know who, Grace Green?
Yes, ma'am. It was raised by the state. And, you know, it had, for a long time historically been $50 for the test, for the complete test. Then it went to $60 last year. Now it's been, engaged with Pearson Educational Services, so it's moved to an online environment. And Pearson charges $120 for that test. So it's a big change. And when you're trying to get an education to go to work, or if you're living in poverty, $120 can mean the difference between your children having dinner, school supplies, you're paying your gas and electric bill. But we have to get these people certified so they can get a better job. So it's a county issue. You know, it's an issue about our people, 10,000 of our people.
Thank you.
Director Stivers, you don't have any other issues? Okay. You can, I'll leave it if you want to do or stay. It's up to you. Director Phillips.
No, ma'am.
Director Hatfield.
Good morning. I have a little good news. We have let the Division of Water know verbally, and we have also sent them a letter of addendum to stop hauling the leachate January 1st. So the engineers are 99% sure that we can do it even under this old permit. And it might be a year or two before we get our new one. So they're backed up. Now, I've asked for a meeting with Mr. Peter Goodman, who is head of the Division of Water for the section that we're working at. When I get back from my surgery, meet with them to get the testing from the long list that I spoke about the last meeting down to the short list. Now, we're trying to get the iron taken completely out of it, but I don't know if we'll be able to do that or not. We're going to ask while we're there. So, that's going to save us a minimum $50,000, probably closer to 70, time you figure employees, benefits, insurance, truck, pay, leachate be done, so that's a good deal. Morel Environmental wants to know, I've twisted Tom Barr's arm, I've got him down to $270 for 2 ads. They want to know, they will do the tree mulching for free. They want to know if you all would pay for the ad. I told them I would ask you today, and yay or nay, and we got to have it in by Thursday. So, remember her being here asking if y'all wanted to do that? No, they paid for it last year. Yeah. So,
How much is it?
$270 for 2 ads. We will pay for one, and Tom's gonna run one free. Be running on the, I don't know.
I'll make a motion that we pay the $270.
23rd.
Or,
What's the company?
It's for Morel Environmental. It's, they're located up off Old Bar, 360 Ranch Road, which is right off Old Barstown Road. They're an environmental company that it's a solid waste distribution site, and they're gonna take all Bullitt County residents' trees, free Christmas trees, if you mulch them, or if you want them to mulch, bring a container. Yeah, Christmas trees.
I got a couple big old trees.
Yeah.
Barry, can you spell Morel?
Do what?
Can you spell?
M-I-M-A-R-R-I-L-L-I-A.
Yes, I do.
We have a motion, second as requested.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? And Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Does it need to state that that comes out of the general fund or?
do
Good question.
Okay. Ms. Ashball?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm on my litter abatement up till the end of November, and it does appear that we're not going to have to send any money back. So we spent right now, we're about 80,000, and I've not figured up December. So we're in good shape on that. The last thing I have is, when we received our household hazardous waste grant in the amount of $22,000 even, we spent $8,268.51 of that money, which was a state money. So we have to send back a total of $13,731.49 of that. So, y'all want a motion to do that, or?
Who picked that stuff up? I mean,
Gus Cincinnati.
oh, it's not Rumpke or none of
Oh,
those.
no, FP certified. And I got looking on that race report they gave me. If I read it right, we received 25 pounds of mercury. That's enough mercury to kill probably everybody from here at West Point that was getting water. But I was shocked that we got that much of that hazardous.
Was it QRS? That sounds.
No, that's not recycling. Thank God.
Well, I just saw a thing on the bills, and I'm wondering if that's what it was, but it was Rumpke, and it was for $2,000-something. I was just wondering what that was.
It was part of Rumpke, part of the bill they didn't send me in September, and I didn't pay it.
Oh.
Me and Laura got together, I never got a September bill, so I held it back. Because I check off every dumpster that leaves, make sure it matches up with the invoice before I approve it.
Oh.
That's probably what that is.
Well, I just happened to see it.
Yeah, it's Rumpke, it's from the recycling center, yeah. Y'all want to make a motion on that? Is that how you want to handle this, or you just want to okay
Did
to
you
do
send
it?
the check back, you mean?
We got, yeah, well, it's actually their money, $13,731.49.
I make a motion to send that amount back to the state
Yes.
in the amount of,
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Bridget, will you read that motion, please?
Yes, the motion is to have a check has an amount of $13,731.49 to send back to the state concerning household hazardous waste grant.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Any questions or discussion? And Brandon Bolo.
Ms. Ashball?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And we received last week our litter abatement check for next year, $72,304.33. It's got $1,000 higher. And I'm gonna be gone Thursday morning, so if y'all need me on my cell phone, but I won't be making no serious decisions for my week.
Ray, have you heard anything on the cane?
No, they said I should be hearing something in the middle of this month. So, I've asked,
So that time?
no, middle of December. Yeah. I'll hear something before that. They call her, see if they. Pardon? Yeah, it's true. Any questions? Y'all buy me anything for Christmas, put it in my office. Thank you all.
We'll pray for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. Director Rudy Hawkins, Code Enforcement, any issues? Thank you, Director Jimmy Miller, Animal Control. Ed Etherton. Mark Gardner. Mike Powell, Judicial Center Maintenance Supervisor, quotes, good morning.
Good morning.
May I say something? Mr. Howard, I just want to say you know one or two.
I thought we get through this last. I've got a couple of things here to bring up in our judicial support here on the time of the bill. Everyone probably knows what it is because it's usually the same thing. We have a, unit number 16 controls the north end of our building, a couple of rooms, and I'll throw her in here because if it's 50 degrees, our county attorney loves it. But unfortunately, she works with a lot of people who like to say it too. So, after our last court meeting, we had a unit that went down, and it was the day after the court. So this kind of takes us back to where we was at one time, trying to up a dollar amount because of things like this. And we had a lot of people sitting in a room freezing to death last 2 weeks ago Wednesday. I walked in that morning, and it was 58. While the body heat, I think we got it up to 62. So I don't know what you're thinking.
The week before, it's like, no. March, I mean,
And like, we had to get fans and everything like that. So anyway, this unit has a bad compressor in it. This unit was transferred from another part of this building in the grand jury room. This building has some design flaws, I guess. I won't say that. Some of you people may help. But anyway, they had this unit on the third floor trying to control the hallway, witness room, the kitchen, and several everything. And it was too small of a unit. So engineers come in and designed a new plan, they went with it, and therefore it was. They moved this unit down to control 2 areas and a foyer into each one of the courtrooms. And it's a 2.5-ton unit, and it did the job sufficiently, but this unit is 12 years old. So what I did was, just like always, I got some quotes. Here's my hurdle. I can only call so many people, and I did this. I was hoping to come here today with all the quotes I needed. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give them to you. I do have a quote here for a repair, and I have a quote here for a replacement. Now, just a little background here. In 19 months in that building that I've been there, we've replaced 4 units. 3 of those units were 100% reimbursed in ALC. So we've only replaced 1 through the county. This particular unit, had it happened a month ago, we wouldn't be sitting here discussing this, but I can give you a copy, and I don't apologize, I don't have a copy for everyone, one, so you guys will just have to share. 2 copies here, one of a replacement and one of a repair. You'll have to keep in mind, I have 2 left. You have one? You have one. Okay. The repair cost of this thing, and the reason this is a little higher, and some of you guys probably have millions like the repair cost of this is a little higher than what we've paid in the past on a compressor replacement, due to the fact that when this was installed, it was installed like everything else in the building, in the worst place. It's right against the wall, so the unit's going to have to come out of the ceiling to be repaired. That's why this cost is up at $3,146.91 to replace this. Now, what we're replacing is a compressor. These heat pump units use a compressor for heat and air, and it's just bad. So we're going to have to take the unit out and replace it. The thing to keep in mind is it's a 12-year-old unit. We're putting a new motor in. Is the car worth fixing? That's the $1 million question. My recommendation is not. I've got a unit that's 12 years old. We've had significant issues with other units in the building. I personally am not a trained, which is what's put throughout this building. I'm not a trained believer, but you know, we have enough trains to go with that. We've been replacing these units with Comfort Air, and we've had good success with these. Granted, it's only been 2 years since we've had the latest we put in, but we've not had any incidences with them at all. The cost to replace that unit on what you have in front of you is $7,808. That's to put in a new unit with a 5-year warranty, 1-year parts and labor. You have some type of warranty. The repair on this unit for $3,000, if we put a compressor in it, the next thing to that compressor is a TXV valve, which is as important to the unit as a compressor. If they pull this unit out and that is bad, we would be looking at additional costs. There's no warranty on that. This compressor would come with a 5-year warranty, but we're kind of crapshoot on whether we put a $3,000 compressor or whether we just put a new unit and have a 5-year warranty on it. So that's where we're at with that. I apologize I don't have all these quotes, but with lengthy phone conversations and emails and everything else, I did get quotes from other companies that I had contacted verbally this morning before coming. Allstate Mechanicals quoted us a replacement price of $8,095. They didn't give me a price as far as the repair, because they didn't come out and look at it. They just know the unit, their pricing things. And we're not running the problem is a lot of these companies are repetitive. And I've had them out here numerous times quoting things and they've not gotten it working. I guess they just get to the point where, well, yeah, we'll do it for this. We don't come out and they just couldn't get them to send me anything in writing. It's not to say that they won't, but they just get kind of pricing things and not get them work. So, and HD Mechanical, they gave us a price of $81. They were the highest. And that's comparing apples to apples. Comfort Air is what they've been using. There's one used, their Comfort Air and Bryant unit, which are pretty much compatible to the best information manual. So what we are looking at is, do we want to replace this unit or do we want to repair this unit? Because it is in a location where we have to take the unit out to repair it, I'm not sure that's the best option. That's
Can we send the bill to AOC, or have they shut us down for you?
We can submit this to AOC.
There's no guarantee that they would.
There's no guarantee, and if you'll think back at our last meeting, I presented to the court my project list that we had. There's one of those units on there. There's another unit in the building that they are replacing, and that'll be the number 4. So out of 5 units, they 100% reimbursed 4 out of 5 units. And this being county property, you know, kind of like we're the landlords, you know, we have to maintain something. But there, you know, there's nothing that says we can't. We can submit it, all we can say is no. And I
It
can
looks
go
like
there.
there's a 5-year compressor warranty if we buy a new one, a year labor warranty and a year parts warranty. We've had so much trouble with those things, and every time you turn around, there's something on them or something has to be done. And I'm not know anything much about mechanics and all that, but I think it would be in our best interest to go ahead and buy a new unit and take it in. So, shall I make that again? I make a motion to buy a new 2.5-ton heat pump replacement to the amount of $7,808. Do I need to say we want to send AOC a statement?
Included, that are.
We'll send it to them if they come across with it, that's fine. If they don't, we'll just send it. But I think it's ridiculous to $3,000 more into that one. Because we've had problems ever since I've been here, so.
Okay, motion is on the floor, second.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Magistrate. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Brandon, will you read that last, please?
Yes, the motion is to purchase a new 2.5-ton heat pump replacement for the Judicial Center, unit number 16, in the amount of $7,880, and we will submit a request for reimbursement to AOC.
Thank you. And you can call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Walker? Yes.
Thank you.
On behalf of myself and 38 people that use this room, thank you. Okay, I have one other thing here, and this is just a follow-up, and I just hit on that. Last court, we had judges that signed a contract or letter with AOC. We had run into a little snag on one of the project lists. The 40-ton unit we have on top of the building actually wasn't updated when everything else was connected into our software. We're trying to get this connected into our software, and the cost of that was $5,700, and it was on our list. The list that we had, anything over 10%, we have to resubmit something else to them. I don't think there's an issue here. What we did was send everything back to AOC. They're going to run it back again to make sure we can get an additional $1,500 to put a new server and a unit on top so that we can connect it into our server.
We got it, Mike.
We got it? Enough said. Moving on. We'll let it go. Okay, one other thing. I hope we're in the mood again here. Okay, this is not a major thing. I just want to bring this up so that somewhere down the road, one of you will walk in on our 3rd floor and say, oh, look, Mike ain't doing his job. You're following me. It's actually not. We have a little issue on top of this big dormer on top of the Judicial Center. Mark Gardner and I have tried every nook and cranny in this building. They put something up there that serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. It looks pretty from the street. It has 2 lights that shine up in it.
can't see from Bucky, so I don't know what good you did, but we got some leakage around this thing. Now, the problem is, nobody can get to it to find out where it's leaking or what to do about it. So I had a company come out and give us a quote, and this will be factored in. This is not something that's gonna cause any major issues. The only reason I'm stating it here today is so somebody doesn't come out and say, well, we need to get on Mike, because he's not doing it. We are into this, we're looking to put this into the budget, have some people come out. We have to have a 175,000 ton crane to get a man in a basket up there just to look at this. There's no other option. So the money that they quoted us for all of that, I think is something that we can work into our 2014-15 budget. At least evaluate whether we want to cut it off like a tree and put a cap over it, or put another little icon or something up there. So that's just something to think about. It's there. So next year's budget rolls around, if you're trading the price like $3, that's what it is. It's not going to be structural damage or anything like that. It's just simply patching and repairing drywall over and over and over. Okay, thank you, folks. I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mike. June Daughtery with the YMCA. Okay, under old business, the second reading of ordinance 13-32. An ordinance relating to the regulation of smoking in buildings, workplaces, and facilities owned or operated by Board County.
Yeah, Judge, instead of reading the summary, there's a lot of people on this, and I was going to read it.
That's what I did.
Ordinance number 13-32, an ordinance of Boone County, Kentucky, relating to the regulation of smoking in buildings, workplaces, and facilities owned or operated by Boone County. Whereas pursuant to KRS 61.165, the General Assembly has granted county governments the ability to regulate smoking in buildings, workplaces, and facilities owned or operated by said county. And whereas Board Fiscal Court finds it to be in the public interest to so regulate, now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Boone County, Kentucky, Section 1, indoor smoking prohibited. Indoor smoking and use of tobacco products are prohibited in all buildings, workplaces, and facilities owned or operated by Boone County, even if leased to another party, and within 15 feet of any public entry or exit point. Said prohibition includes the use of cigarettes, cigars, tobacco pipes, chewing tobacco, snuff, e-cigarettes, and any inhalant that emits smoke into the atmosphere. Section 2, no prohibition on private property. The prohibition set out in Section 1 of this ordinance does not apply to property or buildings neither owned nor operated by Bullitt County. Smoking and use of tobacco products on such property may be regulated by each individual property owner in his, her, or its discretion. Section 3, severability. If any provision of this ordinance is deemed unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, such provision shall be deemed a separate provision and shall not affect the validity of the remaining provisions of this ordinance. Section 4, repealer. All ordinances, resolutions, and administrative regulations, to the extent they are inconsistent herewith, are hereby repealed. Now, Section 5, penalties. Breach of this ordinance is a violation as defined by the Kentucky Revised Statute and subject to a fine not less than $50 nor more than $100 for a first offense, not less than $100 nor no more than $150 for a second offense, and a $250 fine for a third and subsequent offense. Section 6, effective date. This ordinance shall take full force and effect upon publication. Be it so ordained by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court, given first reading at the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the third day of December 2013, and given a second reading at the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of December 2013.
Thank you, County Attorney. Since we have several people here, I think in all fairness, let's allow each person about 5 minutes. I know this bill may have a little more to say than, so but maybe we should stretch out to 10 minutes. I want to be fair to all sides. If it's okay with this side over here, on this side, if it's okay with the folks who are for this ordinance, let's let Ms. Bill have 10 minutes, since she was the person who brought this to our attention as far as wanting something for her class at Bellarmine. Are you all in agreement to that? Okay. Okay, Miss Bill, come on up. Deputy Judge, you want to Miss Bill, do you need help with passing anything out?
No, I'm a very slow printer at home. I started an hour before I left, but not all of you all got a copy of my PowerPoint, but I think this pretty much speaks for itself, and yours is in your PowerPoint. I'd like to thank the court for allowing me to speak today, again, on this subject that I'm very passionate about. I come here first as a mother that has raised 2 children in this community. I've lived here for 26 years in Mount Washington. My children are young adults in their early 20s. They were never raised around tobacco products. As a matter of fact, as being a nurse, I taught them good health habits. Not a perfect parent, but I did teach them good health habits. My son now is a daily smoker, and my daughter states, I only smoke in social gatherings. So it is my statement to the community of Bullitt County that my children learn the smoking habit from the community that they were raised in, not from me. So in my class, I'm advancing my degree, and I was working on a healthcare policy at the community level that I thought needed to be changed. I'd like to let you know the class is over, my grade is final, so anything here on said today is from the work you build with the mother. But Carol Riker, Associate Professor of the University of Kentucky, is here today to hear me speak, which I'm very honored. And Nancy York, Assistant Director of Nursing at Bellarmine University, is also here today to hear me speak. So I appreciate that. The smoking-free ordinance for Bullitt County government-owned buildings. I want to give a definition of secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke is the white smoke from the end of a burning cigarette, or the white smoke exhaled by the smoker. According to the Center for Disease Control fact sheet on health effects of secondhand smoke, non-smokers inhaling secondhand smoke are inhaling the same cancerous causing ingredients as a cigarette smoker. What is tobacco smoke? There are approximately 600 ingredients in tobacco smoke. When burned, they create more than 4,000 chemicals. At least 50 of these chemicals are known to cause cancer, and many are poisonous. Some of the ingredients that are found in other products have warning labels. The cigarette manufacturers do not warn the consumer of the toxins in the tobacco smoke, and that's according to the American Lung Association. I have a copy back there by the American Lung Association when you first walk in of all the ingredients that are found in a cigarette. And when I first started this campaign, I had no idea what it was. I mean, I knew it was cancerous, but when I started reading the labels, and if none of you all have a copy, whether you're a smoker or you're a non-smoker, you deserve, as a consumer, to know what's in that smoke. So I beg you to please sit and read that. Acetone found in nail polish remover, acetic acid found in hair dye, ammonia, common household cleaner, arsenic used in rat poisoning, benzene found in rubber, cement, butane used in lighter fluid, Camanium, I may not be pronouncing that right, active ingredient in battery acid, carbon monoxide released in car fumes, formaldehyde used to embalm bodies, hexamine found in barbecue lighter fluid, lead used in batteries, methanol, a main component in rocket fuel, nicotine used in insecticides, and nicotine is as addictive as cocaine, meth, or any of your stronger street drugs. Toluene used in manufacturing paint. Known health conditions for non-smoking breathing secondhand smoke for adults. You have a 20 to 30% greater chance of developing heart disease, including coronary artery disease. 25 to 30% greater chance of developing lung cancer. an aortic aneurysm, and that's where your aorta, your arteries balloon, 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 and then finally they pop. You're asymptomatic prior to that. Peripheral artery disease, that's where your distal discriminates become numb, tingling, and finally there's no circulation to them. Asthma, COPD, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema. Known health conditions for pregnant women breathing secondhand smoke. Brief exposure to secondhand smoke in all adults can damage the lining of the blood vessels and cause the platelets to become thicker. This reaction decreases blood flow in the pregnant women and all adults. Decreased blood flow can lead to low birth weights. Low birth weights is considered less than 5.5 pounds. Known health conditions from low birth weights, less than 5.5 pounds. Developmental and intellectual disabilities, cerebral palsy, vision and hearing loss, 25% greater chance of dying in the first year. Sudden infant death syndrome, and on autopsies today, now they're finding on SIDS babies that there is a component in their lung tissue that is found in secondhand smoke. Adults born of low birth weights are at risk for hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. Known health conditions for children exposed to secondhand smoke. Cognitive impairments, behavioral problems, increased lung infections, increase in ear infections, triggers more frequent and severe asthma attacks. Lung tissues does not grow to the full capacity in children exposed to secondhand smoke compared to children that are not exposed to secondhand smoke. I did not know that. I was raised in a house with secondhand smoke. 4 leading causes of death in Bullitt County in 2011. Heart disease, malignant neoplasm, which is cancer, chronic lower respiratory disease, and stroke. All 4 are associated with secondhand smoke. My plea to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court to take note of the unhealthy cycle that's going on here among us. Thank you for your intentions to protect those who work in fiscal government, that visit the government buildings from secondhand smoke on your proposal of the ordinance. However, I am concerned that Section 2 and Section 4 of the ordinance threatens to nullify the Board of Health regulation. If it is upheld by the Supreme Court, I respectfully ask that you remove Section 2 and 4 from the proposed ordinance. If that is not acceptable, I ask that you at least table the ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Little. Any questions for Ms. Bivens? Why do you want to address those 2 sections or this?
You all control what is in this ordinance, okay?
Yes.
Section 2, you specifically said you did not want this to apply to anything but county-owned businesses. So Section 2 says that very clearly, that this does not apply to anything involving private property. It's only restricted to county-owned businesses. Number 4 is a standard repealer. It is also the crux of the very nature of the lawsuit that we have going on, where our entire argument is that this fiscal court is the legislative body of Bullitt County.
Then I guess I feel like I have stepped in the way of this court hearing that's going to take place in January. And if that be the case, because if the health department wins, then there's already a law that states that privately owned restaurants, if they want smoking in their restaurants, then they can have it. Exactly where my kids smoke.
Can I answer that for a second? There's not a law. There's a regulation. The health department has passed a regulation. They are administrative body. That is the nature of the suit. I think you probably did step in something you didn't know about when you came and wrote us, okay? But the court decided to take action. But just so you're fully aware, this is an issue that I have said publicly. I have advised fiscal court on it. All along, all fiscal court had to do was pass an ordinance. They had actually chose not to do that. They said that publicly because no one ever asked them to. Counsel for the health department has said in front of the Court of Appeals, admitted that if this board passed anything, any type of ordinance regulating smoking, issues moved. They are the legislative body, okay? They coalesced it, they asked me to draft this for them, which we had. They have the right to do it, but it's entirely up to them on what they want to do. But as far as affecting the lawsuit one way or the other, I don't think the fact that you came and talked to fiscal court